Good morning, everyone. In this video, I am going to explain about distortion in transmission, distortionless transmission, the concept of time domain and frequency domain. So after listening to this lesson, you will be able to understand what is a distortion in transmission, types of distortion, measures for distortionless transmission, and the concept of time domain and frequency domain. By using different methods, either by using time division multiplexing or frequency division multiplexing, the signals are sent from transmitter at one place to long distance of the receiver at another place. Time division multiplexing. It is the mixing of the signals by means of time slots. Frequency division multiplexing is a method where different messages are combined by means of frequency slots. So we are transmitting FDM channels or TDM channels from one place to another place. By the transmission and reception, are we able to get exact original signal at the receiver as if it is sent at the transmitter? No. Certainly there will be a distortion. So the received signal is not exact replica of the original signal. The reason is due to the distortion. And therefore we need to study about the distortion, and we also analyze the methods for distortionless transmission. Once the concept of the distortion is studied, we can identify the methods for distortionless transmission. So what is a distortion? In any communication system, a practical receiver cannot produce the exact signal due to many reasons. There will be a time delay due to distance over which communication takes place. Since the transmitter and receiver are separated by long distance, there will be always a time delay. Due to that, there will be a distortion. Due to this, there may also be a change in the amplitude of the signal. Thus, other changes in the baseband signal may result in distortion, which has corrupting effect on the signal. There may be the frequency distortion, there may be the delay distortion. Any signal may be represented by a graph of electrical quantity such as voltage or current plotted against time. If it is desired to transmit this signal by means of a line to a distance point, we are interested in the faithfulness with which the voltage time graph is reproduced at that point, or alternatively, the distortion due to transmission. Signal transmission over lines are normally complex and consist of many frequency components. For ideal transmission, the waveform at the receiving end must be same as the waveform at the original input signal. So this is the ideal case where we are able to get original replica of the signal. This is not practically possible in many cases. The condition requires that all frequencies have attenuation and the same delay caused by finite phase velocity or velocity of the propagation. When these conditions are not satisfied, distortion exists. If different frequency components undergoes different attenuations or different phase delay, definitely there will be a distortion. So there are different types of distortions, namely harmonic distortion, intermodulation distortion, nonlinear phase response distortion, noise interference. These comes under frequency distortions, delay distortions. What is a frequency distortion? It is the type of distortion in which various frequency components of the signal undergo different attenuations. This is when the attenuation is not a function of frequency, distortion does not exist on transmission lines. Attenuation is always the function of the frequency, and therefore frequency distortion exists. Delay distortion. Delay. This is the type of the distortion in which the time required to transmit various frequency components over the line and the consequent delay is not constant. The delay is not constant. Different frequency components undergoes different delays. Due to that, there will be a distortion. That is, when the phase velocity is independent of frequency, delay distortion does not exist on lines. We have phase velocity equal to omega by beta, where omega is angular frequency and beta is the phase constant. It will be independent of the frequency only when beta is equal to a constant multiple of omega. This type of distortion is also known as phase distortion. Different frequency components undergoes different phases. Now we will discuss about harmonic distortion. This is caused when harmonics of some band of frequencies components are added to the original signal. What are harmonics? The various multiple frequencies. For example, if we have a fundamental frequency F, there exist different harmonics 2F, 3F, 4F, and so on. If there are so many harmonics on the baseband signal, if they are adding to the original fundamental frequency component, harmonic distortion exists. The next type is the intermodulation distortion. This is caused by adding frequency component generated by combining the frequency components with the original signal. This is due to the additional frequency components generated by combining the frequency components on the original signal. We have the original signal and its frequency components. The additional frequency components are generated within the system. Due to the modulation or mixing up of the signals in the transmission, there will be a intermodulation products that are available in the generation process. They are adding with the actual components in the of the original signal. Due to that, there will be a intermodulation distortion. The next type of distortion is nonlinear phase response. This happens when some band of frequency components are amplified more than other. So when different band of frequency components are applied to an amplifier, some frequency components are amplified more than the other components. That means amplification is not uniform for all the range of frequencies. Due to that, there will be a phase variation. Nonlinear, it occurs due to the nonlinear devices, and therefore there exists nonlinear phase response. So nonlinear frequency response also exists due to the nonlinear phase response. What is a nonlinear frequency response? This will occur when some baseband components are amplified more than other. The same thing only. When there is a phase distortion, there will be a frequency distortion, and therefore nonlinear phase response distortion will provide nonlinear frequency distortion also. Noise. The next type of distortion is noise. Most of the noise is added in the channel. Where is the channel? It is the separation between transmitter and receiver. When the signal is applied to a transmitting antenna, the antenna is converting electrical signal into electromagnetic waves, and those are passing through a channel communication medium. Due to that, the noise is added in the channel. So it is either added by the transmitter or receiver. Transmitting equipment will produce certain amount of noise. Receiving equipment will produce a certain amount of noise, but most of the noise is added in the channel. Noise added to the signal in the channel and is corrupting in the signal. And therefore, this noise is to be minimized. We have no control about the external noise. What is an external noise? It is the noise added outside the equipment, outside the transmitter and receiver. This is due to the channel. The signal propagating through the channel, there will be external noise added in the channel. The next type of noise is the interference. This is caused when multiple signals use the same transmission medium. We have the same transmission medium. Many message signals are passing through the same transmission medium. So one signal will be overlapping with the other. If the frequencies are nearby, that causes interference of the signals. So let me summarize what are the types of distortion. Frequency distortion. It is the type of the distortion in which the various frequency components of the signal undergo different attenuations. That is why when the attenuation is not a function of frequency, distortion does not exist on transmission lines. Always the attenuation is a function of frequency and therefore frequency distortion exists. Delay distortion, it is that type of distortion in which the time required to transmit various frequency components over the line and consequent delay is not constant. When the delay is not constant for different frequency component, that results in delay distortion. Therefore, we can conclude that transmission line will neither have delay distortion nor frequency distortion only if attenuation is independent of omega and beta, but this will not exist in real. If the shape of the voltage time graph is faithfully reproduced at the receiving end of the line, but it has suffered a general distortion instant due to attenuation, this is not regarded as the distortion, since the amplifiers for low distortion may usually be employed. They restore the signal to its original amplitude level. If the amplitude level of any signal is decreased, we can make use of amplifiers to increase the signal level. This is not at all a distortion. If the various frequency components undergoes various attenuations, then only there will be a distortion. If various frequency components undergoes various phases, various delays, then it is also a distortion. Similarly, a constant transmission delay is not regarded as a distortion. If the transmission delay is not uniform, if it is not constant, then only it is a distortion. This type of distortion which we are concerned here are the frequency and phase distortions, collectively known as linear distortions. So frequency distortion, delay distortion are collectively known as linear distortions. So we have, in addition to the linear distortions, some other possible distortions are intermodulation distortion, nonlinear phase response distortion or nonlinear frequency response distortion, noise, interference. Intermodulation distortion. This is caused by additional frequency components generated by combining the frequency components with the original signal. Nonlinear frequency response. This will occur when some baseband components are amplified more than the other. Noise. Noise is the unwanted form of energy that is tending with the wanted signal. It is added either by the transmitter or by the receiver. This type of noise we call it as internal noise, but main source of noise is the channel. What is a channel? It is the transmission medium. The noise is added in the transmission medium. That type of noise we call it as external noise. The noise added in the channel is the external noise. External, there are different types of external noise: atmospheric noise, then vehicle noise, man-made noise, and there are so many disturbances in the atmosphere that causes the interference and noise of the wanted signal. Noise added to the signal and it is masking the original signal, and therefore signal to noise ratio decreases and it becomes difficult for us to recover the signal at the receiving end if more amount of noise is added in the channel. Interference is another type of noise. This is caused when multiple signals use the same transmission medium. Now let us see the measures for distortionless transmission. Once we know the concept of distortion, we have to look for the measures for distortionless transmission. How do we transmit the signal from transmitter to receiver such that there is a minimum amount of distortion present in the channel? Let us see the measures here. Digital communication has the ability to reduce noise and distortion. The most important concept is that the digital communication provides immunity to noise and distortion. And therefore, analog communication system always offering certain amount of noise. In order to minimize the amount of noise, in order to reduce the noise and distortion, there is no other alternative way except going for digital communication system. In analog system, noise and distortion tend to accumulate and it is difficult for us to remove the noise. If the frequency response of channel is known, filters can be used to compensate. If you know the channel characteristics, then we can use the filters to remove the noise. It is very difficult to estimate the frequency response of the channel, hence the compensation of noise cannot be possible. It is obvious that for faithful transmission, the frequency and phase distortion must be zero or negligible over the band of frequencies which may exist in the signal. Zero frequency distortion simply means that attenuation frequency graph for transmission system must be a horizontal straight line, no variations in it, over the frequency band. Our attenuation should be of flat with frequency. And therefore, we can use different filters to minimize the effect of distortion. If harmonic distortion, intermodulation, and noise are present, it is difficult to remove them completely from analog signal. So we studied harmonic distortion, intermodulation distortion, noise, and therefore we cannot minimize the effect of these distortions completely from analog transmission. Certain amount of immunity against distortion and noise can be built in digital modulation schemes. Therefore, digital modulation schemes are preferred over analog modulation schemes for achieving distortionless transmission. The following measures which we have to take to minimize the effect of distortion. Pulses generate wide bandwidth signals in order for square wave to be transmitted and received without distortion and degradation. All the sidebands must be passed by an antenna and transmitting and receiving circuits. So all the sidebands, all the signals must be passed by an antenna, must be passed by a transmitting system and receiving system such that we can minimize the amount of distortion and degradations. In amplitude modulation, an excessively high voice signals causes overmodulation and severe distortion of the signal. High voice signals means the amplitude of the signal when it is high, it causes overmodulation. What is overmodulation? The modulation index is greater than 1. Due to that, there will be a distortion. We have to keep the modulation index of the AM wave within the limit, means greater than 0 and less than or equal to 1. So in order to provide that, so high voltage, high voice signals are to be limited. If the amplitude of the voice signals are limited, then overmodulation will not occur. We have to see that there should not be overmodulation in amplitude modulation systems. And hence, in amplitude modulation, if the message signals are having higher amplitude levels, then reduce the amplitude level such that the modulation index will be within the acceptable level. If the amplitude is limited, then overmodulation will not occur. Due to that, there will not be any distortion in amplitude modulation systems. For voice communication systems, special speech processing circuits have been developed to provide for increased amplification of low-level audio current while at the same time limiting the peaks. Noise is always occupying the peaks, and therefore we are supposed to limit the peaks. That means the noise process is eliminated. So we have to use those special speech processing circuits that are to be developed or that have been already developed. This voice signal must pass through the speech processing system such that there will be an increased amplification of the signal and limiting the peak levels, thereby noise level is reduced. This process we call it as dynamic compression. Compression of the signals at the sending end, thereby limiting the amplitude levels and peaks of the signal to produce distortionless transmission. In modern transmitters, speech processing is achieved with digital circuits. A special chip known as DSP, digital signal processing chip, is used to perform various tasks such as limiting, filtering, and compression. So nowadays we are using a DSP processors, digital signal processors. This is possible in modern transmitters. Speech is passing through a digital circuit known as chip, digital signal processor chip. It is performing a number of operations such as limiting. Limiting means the amplitude level is reduced. Filtering means the unwanted signals are filtered out. Only the wanted signals are passing through the system, DSP system. And compression also it is providing. Compression means dynamically reducing the amplitude level at the sending end and expansion at the receiving end. We can do it. So this is possible with the digital communication system with an advancement in digital signal processing techniques. So DSP processors provides us the greater extent of noise removal, limiting the noise, filtering the signal, and compression. Sometimes we also use equalizers. What are equalizers? Equalizers are electrical networks designed to counteract the attenuation or phase distortion. The network that counteracts the attenuation distortion is called attenuation equalizer, while the network counteract the phase or delay distortion is called phase distortion, phase equalizer, or delay equalizer. And therefore, there are two types of equalizers we can make use of. One is a attenuation equalizer. It compensates for attenuation distortion. The second one is a phase equalizer or delay equalizer. It compensates for the phase or delay distortion. The counteraction can be achieved by introducing additional attenuation at those frequencies at which the attenuation is at least so that the overall attenuation is independent of frequency, or else by increasing the amplification at those frequencies at which the attenuation is greatest. Go for amplification to increase the level of the signal, thereby attenuation is compensated. Similarly, delay or phase equalizers that equalizes the group velocities in order that delay or phase distortion is minimized. Therefore, equalizers are networks whose frequency and phase attenuation characteristics are adjusted to be the inverse to those of the lines. It is inverse to those of the lines, resulting in an overall uniform frequency response over the desired frequency band. In digital communication system, we can make use of DSP processes, and we can go for error detection and correction mechanism such that the errors are detected at the receiving end they are corrected at the receiving end, thereby distortion can be minimized. Any amplitude variation occurring on the FM signal are effectively clipped off by the use of limiter circuit. There is a limiter circuit in the FM transmission. If there are any in FM frequency modulation, the amplitude of the carrier is constant. We are only changing the frequency of the carrier as for the variations in the amplitude of the message signal. Frequency modulation is a technique where frequency of the carrier is varied in accordance with the amplitude of the message signal, keeping the amplitude and phase of the signal constant. When the amplitude is constant, if there are any variations in the amplitude level due to the channel characteristics, those amplitude variations can be clipped off by the use of limiter circuits. So we can provide limiter circuits in the FM transmission, thereby the distortion is minimized. Noise has greater effect on higher modulating frequencies than lower ones. Let me take for an example, we have audio frequencies 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz, 20 Hz, 100 Hz, 1 kilohertz, 2 kilohertz, 3 kilohertz. They are having lower frequencies. They have amplitude levels, higher amplitude levels. As the frequency increases, the amplitude level of the signal is decreasing. For example, 10 kilohertz, 15 kilohertz, 18 kilohertz, they are the higher message signal frequencies. So noise is added at the higher message signal frequencies because of the lower amplitude levels. And therefore, we have to process it properly. If the high frequencies present in the message signal are artificially boosted at the transmitting end and correspondingly cut at the receiving end, an improvement in the noise immunity could be achieved. The meaning of it is we have frequencies from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. As the frequency increases, the amplitude level of the signal decreases. Due to that, the noise is trying to add over the higher frequencies present in the message signal. Then what we have to do? We have to artificially boost. Boost means increase the signal level of the higher message signal frequencies at the transmitter. This process we call it as pre-emphasis. Artificially we are boosting the higher message signal frequencies. Amplitude level are increased, and we have to do corresponding cut at the receiving end after receiving, so we can provide noise immunity. This is possible only in case of FM transmission. So in FM transmission, if we use amplitude limiter, we can provide much reduction in the distortion of noise. We can use pre-emphasis and de-emphasis, that means artificial boosting at the transmitter. We can provide greater extent of noise immunity for the transmission of signals. So let us summarize some more points which we have studied. The measures for distortionless transmission: we can make use of equalizers, we can make use of our DSP processors, we can make use of limiter circuits, we can make use of pre-emphasis circuits, we can provide noise immunity for the transmission of the signals. The first one is equalizer. They are electrical network designed to counteract the attenuation or phase distortion. The network that counteracts the attenuation distortion is called attenuation equalizer, while the network that counteracts the phase distortion or delay distortion is called phase equalizer or delay equalizer. So we have to provide equalizing networks to compensate for attenuation. And the next one is we can make use of limiter circuit to cut off the amplitude variations present on the FM signal. thereby noise immunity is achieved. And we can go for artificial boosting of the higher message signal frequencies at the transmitting end and the corresponding cut at the receiving end. We can go for improvement in the noise immunity. In addition to that, we can make use of for voice communication systems. Speech processing circuits have been developed to provide for increased amplification of low-level audio content. If the audio content is low amplitude level, then we can go for increased amplification. Digital communication system uses digital signal processors to perform various operations on the signal such as limiting, filtering, and compression. Amplitude limiter circuit can be used to clip off the amplitude variations which are caused by addition of noise. In amplitude modulation, an excessive message signal amplitude causes over modulation, which causes severe distortion of the signal. If the amplitude of the message signal is limited, then the over modulation will not occur. Noise has greater effect on higher modulating frequencies than on lower modulating frequencies. If the higher modulating frequencies are artificially boosted at the transmitting end and corresponding cut at the receiving end, an improvement in noise immunity could be achieved. With this background, now we will study about the concept of time domain and frequency domain. These are the two types of representations of the signals, either a message signal or carrier signal or modulated signal can be represented by means of time domain or frequency domain. These domain representations are used to represent the given signal by means of time domain or frequency domain. In communication system, information is carried out by way of signals. The signals are represented by two methods. One is time domain representation. The second one is a frequency domain representation. This is the time domain representation of the signal, where on the time axis we have an x-axis we have the time, on y-axis we have the amplitude level. So this is the amplitude modulated signal where the amplitude is varied with respect to time. This is the time domain representation of the FM wave. On x-axis we have time, on y-axis we have amplitude. See, the amplitude of the cycles are constant here, and there is a variation in the amplitude from here to here. So what is the time domain representation? The time domain representation is represented with respect to time. We have on y-axis amplitude, on x-axis time, and the signal is represented by varying amplitudes with respect to time. And therefore, we will define the time domain representation now. Time domain representation of a signal is the variation of the amplitude of the signal with respect to time. Time is an independent quantity that is an x-axis, and we have variation in the time domain representation of a signal. The time domain signals are the actual variations of the voltage over time. Let us take, if the amplitude is a voltage, then we have voltage signal, voltage versus time, and it can be of current signal, current versus time, the variation in the current with respect to time. So time domain representation is always with respect to time. They are what we would display on the screen of an oscilloscope. So we are displaying the signal on an oscilloscope, cathode ray oscilloscope. So sinusoidal alternating current signals can be represented mathematically by trigonometric functions. For example, m of t equal to am cos 2 pi fmt, and there are variations in the amplitude level with respect to time. So in this time domain, we have amplitude variation of the signal as a function of time. The display on the screen of the cathode ray oscilloscope showing amplitude on one scale, on the time on another scale. Amplitude is on the y-axis, time is on the x-axis. It is always with respect to time. AM wave and FM wave, we have shown it in time domain representation. The time domain representation has one disadvantage, that it cannot give proper indication about the existence of different frequency components in a complex wave. We cannot know what are the frequencies present on the signal if the waveform is displayed by means of time domain representation. It is only represented the variations in the amplitude level, either voltage level or current level with respect to time. And therefore, time domain representation, we cannot get what are the various frequency components present in the given signal. The y-axis indicates the amplitude level and x-axis indicate the time period, and we don't know the information about the frequency components present in the given signal. We only know what are the variations, what are the amplitude levels at different instances of time. Time domain, it presents the comparison of amplitude at various instances of time. See, on x-axis there is a time, on y-axis there is amplitude level. The amplitude of the signal is varying with respect to time. We can know at every instant of time, we can know the amplitude level of this particular time domain signal. This is the amplitude modulated signal waveform. The amplitude of the signal carrier is varying with respect to time as for the variations in the amplitude of the message signal. And we can know at every instant of time, we can know the amplitude of this particular time domain signal. Now we see frequency domain representation. On x-axis, we have frequency. On y-axis, the amplitude means the Fourier transform is particularly used in the frequency domain representation. In frequency domain representation, we have Fourier transform. The amplitude of the Fourier transform is on y-axis and frequency on x-axis. If you observe this particular frequency domain representation, on y-axis, on x-axis, we have the frequencies. Carrier frequency is present, whose amplitude is EC. FC is present, whose amplitude is EC. Another frequency is present, FC plus FM. This is upper sideband is present, whose amplitude is MEC by 2. M is the modulation index. And this is the lower sideband, whose frequency is FC minus FM. X-axis is the frequency, and whose amplitude level is MEC by 2. So by looking at this particular frequency domain representation of the AM wave, we can know what are all the frequencies present in the given signal. So what are all the frequencies present in the given signal? We have carrier frequency, upper sideband frequency, lower sideband frequency. We can also know the amplitude level of each and every frequencies. See here, this carrier frequency has amplitude level EC. Upper sideband has amplitude level MEC by 2. Lower sideband has amplitude level MEC by 2. Both the sidebands will have the same amplitude levels. See, we can get some more information if we go for frequency domain representation. For representation of the modulated signals, frequency domain representation is useful. So if we have time domain representation, we don't know the bandwidth of the particular signal. Whereas in frequency domain representation, we can know how much is the bandwidth occupied by the signal. For example, we have range of frequencies here. Range of frequencies varying from upper sideband to lower sideband. We know that bandwidth is equal to the difference between upper sideband and the lower sideband. This upper sideband is at FC plus FM, and the lower sideband is at FC minus FM. Then if we take the difference between these two, we will get the bandwidth of the signal. What is the difference now? FC plus FM minus of FC minus FM, that is equal to 2 times FM. So we can know the bandwidth of the modulated signal. If we have time domain representation of the AM wave, we don't know what are all the frequency components present in the AM wave. We can only know the amplitude variations in the given signal with respect to time, whereas in frequency domain representation, it is the graph, it is a plot of the amplitude of the signal with respect to frequency. A plot of signal amplitude versus frequency is referred to as frequency domain display. A test instrument known as a spectrum analyzer will be used to display the frequency domain signal. So there is a specialized equipment called spectrum analyzer that is used to display the frequency domain signal. So by looking at this particular AM waveform, we can know what are all the frequency components present in the AM wave. And hence this AM wave consists of 3 frequency components, one at FC, one at FC plus FM, one at FC minus FM. We can also know the amplitude levels of each and every frequency component. In addition to that, we can calculate the bandwidth of the signal using frequency domain representation, which is not possible with the time domain representations. Hence, modulated signals can be represented by means of frequency domain representations. So this is another example of the frequency domain. We have a carrier frequency, and these are all the side bands, one frequency, the next frequency. This is FC, FC plus FM, FC minus FM, FC plus 2 FM, FC minus 2 FM, FC plus 3 FM, FC plus 4 FM, FC plus 5 FM, and we can know what are all the frequencies present in the given signal. This is the frequency domain representation of the FM wave, frequency modulated signal. So when you display the FM wave using frequency spectrum analyzer, we can get the carrier and the number of side bands. We can calculate the bandwidth occupied by the signal, and hence frequency domain representation is the graphical representation or plot of the amplitude of the signal with respect to frequency. In frequency domain, amplitude is shown on y-axis and frequency is displayed on the x-axis. A spectrum analyzer equipment displays the frequency domain representation of the signal. And we have seen that frequency domain representation of the signal. The disadvantage of the frequency domain method is that it cannot show the phase of the signal. The phase cannot be calculated. We can know the frequencies and the amplitude level of the various frequencies present in the given signal. Further, we can know the bandwidth of the signal. So this is the frequency domain representation of a particular waveform. On on y-axis, we have amplitude level. On x-axis, we have frequencies. And see, there are different frequency components present here: 200 Hz, 400 Hz, 600 Hz, 800 Hz, 1000, 1200, 1400, 1600, 1800, 2000. So if a waveform consisting of number of frequency components, then it is better to display it by using frequency domain representation. Since voice is a mixture of frequencies, many frequencies, baseband signals are present. Video signal is also from 0 Hz to 4.3 megahertz. Similarly, any signal is a mixture of band of frequencies. After modulation also, the signals are placed onto a carrier. Due to that, there will be a band of frequencies. We will be getting the bandwidth of the signal. In order to better understand that particular signal, we have to go for frequency domain representations. It is a plot of the amplitude of the signal with respect to frequency. A plot of the signal amplitude versus frequency is known as a frequency domain display. A test instrument known as spectrum analyzer is used to display the frequency domain representation. For example, if we take what is the amplitude level of 400 Hz, so we can calculate the amplitude level. What is the amplitude level of 600 Hz? What is the amplitude level of 800 Hz signal? Similarly, we can know the amplitude level of each and every frequency component present in the signal by means of frequency domain representations. So frequency domain representations are useful in the study of communication systems, especially the analog modulation schemes, namely amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, and phase modulation. The bandwidth of modulated signal has some simple relation to that of the baseband signal. Bandwidth is a function of baseband signal frequency. In case of amplitude modulation, we got bandwidth is equal to 2 times the highest frequency present in the given signal. If the carrier is modulated by a single modulating signal, we will be getting 2 sidebands above and below the carrier frequency. As we have seen in the frequency domain representation of the AM wave, we have carrier frequency FC, upper sideband FC plus FM, and the lower sideband FC minus FM. And therefore, if a carrier is modulated by single modulating frequency, 2 sideband frequencies are generated above and below the carrier frequencies. The horizontal axis represents the frequency and the vertical axis, y-axis, represent the amplitude of the signal in frequency domain representation. So let us summarize what is the time domain and frequency domain. The time domain representation of a signal is the variation of the amplitude of the signal with respect to time. Time domain signals are the actual variations of voltage over time. They are what we would see displayed on the screen of the oscilloscope. And similarly, frequency domain representation, it is the plot of the amplitude of the signal with respect to frequency. A plot of signal amplitude versus frequency is referred to as frequency domain display. A test instrument known as spectrum analyzer is used to display the frequency domain representation of the signal. And let us summarize. In this, we have studied about noise, distortion, and what are the measures for distortionless transmission. So we have seen that noise and distortion is less in digital systems compared to analog systems because there is a DSP processor which minimizes the amount of distortion in digital communication systems. Noise cannot be completely eliminated. We can minimize the effect of noise. Various steps to be taken for minimizing the noise we have studied. The measures for distortionless transmission we have studied in detail. In communication system, information is carried out by way of signals and it represents time domain and frequency domain analysis. We have studied about time domain and frequency domain representation of the signal, the advantages of each domain representation we studied in this particular video lesson. In time domain methods, graph is plotted between amplitude on y-axis and time on x-axis. It cannot display various frequency components present in a combined wave. If you go for frequency domain method, the graph is plotted between amplitude, that is y-axis, and frequency x-axis. It cannot display the phase details of the signal. So with this knowledge, let us answer some quiz questions. Distortion is less in which communication system? Distortion is less in digital communication system. We have DSP process, we have encoding mechanism, we have error detection correction mechanism to minimize the amount of distortion present in the digital communication system. Second question, when the harmonics of baseband components are added to the original signal, then which type of distortion takes place? Harmonic distortion takes place. Harmonics of baseband components are added to the original signal, then it results harmonic distortion. Third question, dash is caused due to multiple signals use the same transmission medium. Interference is caused when many signals are passing through the same transmission medium. One signal will be interfered with the other. So interference is caused due to multiple signals transmitting through the same transmission medium. Due to overmodulation, which one increases? Overmodulation, noise increases. The distortion of the signal increases due to overmodulation. Time domain representation of TDM signal or any particular time domain signal can be observed using cathode ray oscilloscope. You have options here: cathode ray oscilloscope, spectrum analyzer, frequency meter, distortion factor meter. So time domain representation can be displayed over cathode ray oscilloscope is the right choice. The disadvantage of time domain is that it cannot give proper indication of different frequencies. There are options: amplitudes, frequencies, phase, none. So time domain cannot give the frequency components present in the given signal. And therefore, disadvantage of the time domain is that it cannot give proper indication of different frequencies. One of the following equipment gives the frequency domain representation of the signals. Option A, spectrum analyzer, signature analyzer. B is cathode ray oscilloscope. C is a spectrum analyzer. D, XY plotter. The answer is spectrum analyzer is an equipment used to represent or used to display the frequency domain representation of the signals. The disadvantage of frequency domain is that it cannot show the dash of the signal, phase, amplitude, both phase and amplitude, frequency component. Answer is phase. So frequency domain representation cannot show the phase of the signal. It only shows the frequency on x-axis and the amplitude on y-axis. These are the following possible questions you can answer from this video. Define distortion, classify different types of distortion. What are the measures that should be taken to minimize distortion and noise? What are the measures for distortionless transmission? The other way of asking this question is, what are the measures for distortionless transmission? Define time domain and frequency domain. Explain about time domain and frequency domain of the signal with the help of the waveforms. What is the time domain? What is frequency domain? You can explain. Sketch the time domain and frequency domain waveforms.